Sometimes survival is a matter of seconds, courage, and teamwork. Deep in the heart of Kenya, a lion's desperate roars echoed from a forgotten well, a call for help that would bring together humans and nature in a dramatic rescue. What happened next would change everyone involved forever. If you love stories of courage and wildlife heroism, make sure to follow this channel, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments below, because every life saved deserves to be celebrated. The morning sun rose over Amboseli National Park, casting a golden glow across the savanna dotted with acacia trees. Officer Michael Thompson drove slowly along the dirt patrol path, scanning the horizon for signs of wildlife. His radio had been quiet all morning, the usual patrol uneventful, until faint, desperate roars pierced the calm. The sound was unlike anything he had encountered in his 15 years with the Kenya Wildlife Service. Urgent, pleading, and full of raw fear. Thompson's pulse quickened as he recognized the tone. These were not normal lion calls. They carried the unmistakable weight of distress. Following the echoes, he reached the edge of an old, abandoned water well. Local Maasai herders had dug it decades ago during droughts, but it had been unused for years, its stone walls weathered and worn. Peering over the edge, Thompson froze. At the bottom of the 20-foot drop, a magnificent male lion paced frantically. His golden coat, usually radiant, was matted with mud, clinging to his powerful frame. Amber eyes glinted with fear and confusion as he attempted, again and again, to scale the smooth walls. The sight of such a powerful predator trapped in a small, circular prison was both mesmerizing and alarming. The magnitude of the situation hit Thompson immediately. This was no ordinary patrol incident. The lion's weight, estimated at over 400 pounds, combined with the well's vertical, slick stone walls, made it impossible for the animal to escape on its own. Time was critical. A lion could survive only a few days without water, and the stress of confinement could lead to dangerous complications, including cardiac failure. With a steady hand that belied his racing heart, Thompson reached for his radio. "Control, this is Officer Thompson. I have a lion trapped in a well, approximately 20 feet deep. Request immediate backup and a specialized rescue team." Within minutes, Elder Samuel Kipanui arrived. His presence brought a mixture of reassurance and cultural gravitas. Weathered and dignified, he approached the well cautiously, speaking in heavily accented English. "This well has been abandoned for over 10 years, he explained, gesturing toward the mossy stone rim. "The water table dropped, and wildlife seldom visits. But the rains have returned small pools at the bottom, and this lion has found himself trapped. You must act quickly." He paused, his eyes softening. "This is Simba Wam Mafalme. He is the leader of his pride in the Northern Territory. Without him, his family cannot survive." Thompson nodded, understanding the stakes. This was more than a rescue, Bushtum. It was the survival of an entire pride. The gravity of the mission weighed heavily on him, yet he knew hesitation could be fatal. Soon after, Sarah Mitchell arrived, accompanied by her specialized team from the David Sheldrich Wildlife Trust. She was a veteran in wildlife rescues, her reputation forged in years of handling complex extractions across East Africa. She quickly assessed the situation with the binoculars, observing the lion's frantic movements and signs of dehydration. His coat was coated with mud, his breathing rapid. Though he bore no obvious injuries from the fall, time was slipping away. Dr. Mitchell's team included Marcus Rodriguez and James Hawaiian, both experts in animal extraction. They wasted no time assembling the portable pulley system, reinforced nets, and sedation equipment necessary for a safe rescue. The process demanded precision, experience, and extreme caution. The slightest mistake could endanger the lion, the team, or both. Thompson coordinated the security perimeter, ensuring that curious onlookers and other wildlife were kept at a safe distance. Local Maasai villagers, clad in their traditional red cloths, gathered nearby, their faces etched with concern. Despite the threat lions sometimes posed to their livestock, these apex predators were revered. Their survival was a matter of pride, tradition, and ecological balance. The first step, Dr. Mitchell explained, was to safely sedate the lion. Administering the correct dose was crucial. Overdose could be fatal. Underdose could leave the lion semi-conscious, dangerous, and unable to be lifted safely. The team worked with painstaking care. Rodriguez positioned himself with a spotlight to illuminate the well's interior, while Oyen prepared the heavy-duty rescue net made from reinforced marine-grade rope. Its padded contact points would prevent injury during lifting, a necessary precaution given the lion's size and power. As the team prepared, the lion paused mid-pace, lifting his massive head to gaze upward. For a moment, predator and human locked eyes. Thompson felt a wave of awe and humility. This was not just a wild animal in distress, it was a sentient being, intelligent and dignified, assessing the humans above him. The moment underscored the delicate nature of the rescue. They were not merely removing a trapped animal, they were safeguarding life, dignity, and balance. Dr. Mitchell steadied her hands, calculating the sedative dose for the dart gun. She accounted for the lion's estimated weight, stress levels, and erratic movements. Every second was a test of patience, skill, and nerve. The dart had to strike precisely, delivering the medication safely into the lion's bloodstream. Rodriguez's spotlight cut through the morning shadows, revealing the animal's tense muscles and alert stance. Oyen adjusted the net straps once more, ensuring proper alignment for the eventual lift. When the dart finally hit the lion's left shoulder, the effect was almost immediate. His roars softened to low rumbles, movements slowed, and gradually he lay down on the muddy floor, breathing steadier. The team moved efficiently, but with deliberate caution, as the lion's sedation began to take hold. Rodriguez descended using climbing equipment, every movement precise to avoid startling the sedated predator. The cramped space made it a delicate operation. One wrong step could collapse the net, injure the lion, or place the rescuer in grave danger. Above ground, Dr. Mitchell monitored vital signs with remote equipment attached to the dart. The lion's heart rate remained stable and his breathing regular, a promising sign. Yet the team was acutely aware of the limited window. Sedatives in large predators could wear off quickly, and any delay could jeopardize the operation. Elder Kipanui and the gathered Maasai watched silently, murmuring traditional prayers to ensure the lion's safe recovery. In their culture, aiding a lion was a spiritual act, a bond of respect and protection between humans and nature. Every element of the operation, coordination, equipment, human skill, and cultural reverence, was critical. Thompson documented the unfolding rescue on camera, knowing the footage would serve as both training material and a record of a rare event. This operation would set new protocols for predator rescues across Kenya and beyond. The morning sunlight shimmered across the well, glinting off the lion's golden coat as he settled into monitored sleep, a testament to nature's resilience and the unwavering dedication of those committed to preserving it. The first stage of the rescue was complete. The lion was sedated safely, his life no longer in immediate danger. But the real challenge, lifting him from the well without injury, was about to begin. The stakes remained high, but the team's preparation, skill, and reverence for the magnificent predator had already created the foundation for what could become one of the most memorable wildlife rescues in East Africa. The afternoon sun climbed higher, casting long shadows over the acacia-studded savanna. Yet the tension around the abandoned well only intensified. With the lion now sedated and lying quietly on the muddy floor, the rescue team faced a new and equally critical challenge, preparing him for extraction without causing injury. Every second counted. Sarah Mitchell checked her notes and adjusted her monitoring device, which relayed real-time readings of Simba Wam Mafalme's heart rate and breathing to a handheld screen. The numbers were within normal limits for a sedated lion, but she knew the margin for error was minimal. A single misstep during harnessing or lifting could prove fatal, not only for the lion but for the rescuers themselves. Marcus Rodriguez, an expert climber and wildlife rescuer, descended carefully into the well using his specialized rope gear. His movements were deliberate and calculated. The confined space offered little room for maneuvering. One wrong foot placement on the slippery stone walls could endanger the entire operation. The lion's massive frame dominated the bottom of the well, his muscular body filling nearly every inch of the circular pit. Even sedated, the predator radiated power, and Rodriguez treated every step with utmost respect. He began the delicate process of positioning the heavy-duty, reinforced net beneath the lion, ensuring that the padded straps would support his full weight during the lift. Above ground, James Oyen prepared the pulley system. The device, capable of lifting up to 800 pounds smoothly, required precise coordination. Any sudden movements could jolt the lion, causing internal injury or disrupting his sedation. Oyen adjusted the mechanical gears and inspected the steel cables meticulously, ensuring each component was secure. Thompson oversaw the perimeter once again, keeping local onlookers and curious wildlife at a safe distance. The Maasai villagers, their colorful red garments swaying gently in the wind, watched with anxious anticipation. Many held whispered prayers or chants for the lion's safety, a spiritual tradition that reinforced the cultural reverence for these apex predators. Dr. Mitchell approached the well's edge, dart gun in hand, though she no longer needed it for sedation. Instead, she coordinated Rodriguez and Oyen, guiding their movements with careful precision. Her voice, calm yet authoritative, carried down the narrow well. Ensure the harness supports the shoulder and spine evenly. Keep the straps snug but not tight. Remember, we have roughly 45 minutes before the sedative begins to wear off. Speed, but caution, Marcus, smooth and steady. Rodriguez nodded, understanding the gravity of the instructions. He had executed complex wildlife extractions before, but lifting a fully grown male lion from a well was a task few had attempted successfully. The harness itself was a masterpiece of design and engineering. Constructed from marine-grade ropes and reinforced webbing, it was specifically designed for large predators. Padded contact points prevented pressure on delicate areas like the ribs and spine, while adjustable straps allowed for secure positioning around the lion's muscular torso and limbs. Rodriguez moved slowly, working around the sedated lion's powerful legs and massive shoulders. Each adjustment was deliberate, measured, and methodical. The confined space required him to crouch and balance carefully, ensuring the lion remained undisturbed while the harness was positioned precisely. Meanwhile, Oyen tested the pulley system once more from above. He applied gentle tension, watching for any movement of the harness and the lion's body. A single misalignment could place uneven stress on the lion's frame, causing injury during ascent. Dr. Mitchell monitored vital signs continuously, her eyes flicking between the display and the lion below. Simba's heart rate remained steady at 60 beats per minute, a sign that the sedation was holding. But she knew that even minor fluctuations could escalate into a dangerous situation. As Rodriguez worked, a sudden movement from the lion caused a ripple of concern. Though heavily sedated, Simba shifted slightly, flexing his powerful legs as if testing the boundaries of his restraint. Dr. Mitchell quickly administered a small, supplemental dose of the sedative. The calculation had to be exact. Too much, and the lion could suffer respiratory failure. Too little, and he might awaken before extraction. The delicate balance between safety and effectiveness demanded every ounce of her expertise. The Maasai villagers watched in silence, their faces reflecting a mixture of awe, concern, and respect. Elder Kipanui moved closer to the edge, murmuring prayers under his breath. To him, this was not merely a physical rescue. It was a spiritual undertaking. Lions held profound significance in Maasai culture, representing strength, leadership, and the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Saving Simba wa Mfalme was a reaffirmation of that bond, a recognition of humanity's responsibility to coexist with the wild. Finally, after nearly 30 minutes of meticulous work, Rodriguez secured the harness fully beneath the lion. The straps were snug, evenly distributing Simba's weight across his muscular torso. Oyen applied gentle tension to the pulley system, raising the lion just a few inches to test the stability. The heavy feline remained calm, the sedative doing its job perfectly. Dr. Mitchell's hands hovered over the monitoring device, eyes scanning the vitals. The lion's heart rate and breathing remained steady, a promising sign as the team prepared for the critical lift. Thompson, stationed above, documented every step on camera. The images and footage would serve as a vital training tool, illustrating the complex coordination, technical expertise, and cultural sensitivity required in such rescues. Every second captured the tension, the skill, and the respect involved in saving one of Africa's most powerful predators. For Thompson, the moment was both professionally exhilarating and deeply personal, a reminder of why he had dedicated his life to wildlife conservation. Dr. Mitchell leaned over the edge one final time, issuing calm instructions to Rodriguez and Oyen. Steady now, gradual lift, ensure the lion remains level, watch the straps. The mechanical pulley whirred softly as Oyen applied controlled pressure. The lion rose slowly, just a few inches, the net holding firm under his considerable weight. The movement was almost imperceptible, yet it marked the beginning of the extraction phase. Every team member understood the delicate balance. The lion's safety, their own, and the precision of timing were all intertwined. As the initial lift continued, subtle changes in Simba's breathing indicated the sedative was beginning to take full effect. The low rumbles he had emitted earlier were fading, replaced by steady, measured breaths. Rodriguez kept a hand lightly on the harness, ensuring the lion's balance and comfort. Oyen adjusted the pulley, gradually increasing tension, lifting Simba another foot above the well floor. The sight was surreal, a magnificent predator, calm yet formidable, suspended in a carefully engineered harness, defying the perils that had trapped him hours earlier. The Maasai villagers watched with bated breath, their collective presence a testament to the deep-rooted respect they held for wildlife. Children pressed close to the perimeter, wide-eyed, witnessing a rare moment of human and animal collaboration. Elder Kipanui's prayers continued softly, a steady rhythm that seemed to echo through the trees and across the savannah. To them, this was not only a rescue operation, but a reaffirmation of the harmony between humans and the natural world. Utter Mitchell continued to monitor the lion's vitals, ready to intervene if necessary. "We are in the window, but we must remain focused," she called down. Rodriguez nodded, adjusting the harness slightly to ensure even weight distribution. Oyen tightened the pulley incrementally, lifting Simba to a point where his shoulders were level with the well's edge. Every adjustment, every controlled movement, was a testament to the meticulous preparation that had gone into this rescue. As the sun began its descent, casting a warm amber glow across the savannah, the rescue team held their positions, each member acutely aware of the balance between speed and caution. The lion, sedated but majestic, remained calm within the harness, the culmination of precise teamwork, expert planning, and unwavering respect. This stage of preparation, the sedative administration, harness placement, and initial lifting test, set the foundation for the extraction phase that would ultimately return Simba wa Mfalme to the freedom of his pride. Even in this controlled moment, the stakes remained palpable. One misstep could unravel hours of effort. Yet the unity of human skill, cultural reverence, and technological support had brought them to this critical juncture. The lion, unaware of the complexity of his rescue, lay quietly, a symbol of both vulnerability and resilience. And above ground, as the shadows lengthened across the golden savannah, every participant understood that the next stage, the extraction itself, would demand absolute precision, courage, and unwavering focus. The sun had moved further west, casting long, slanting shadows across the African savannah. But the team's focus remained entirely on the well and the lion suspended within it. The sedative had taken full effect, and Simba wa Mfalme lay tranquilly in the reinforced harness. Above ground, Oyen manipulated the pulley system, applying measured pressure to lift the massive feline with surgical precision. Every turn of the gears, every adjustment to the steel cables, had to be executed flawlessly. The lion's safety and the success of the mission depended entirely on this coordinated effort. Rodriguez, still partially descended into the well to ensure balance, checked the harness once again. His hands moved over the padded straps, making minute adjustments to prevent any shift in Simba's weight. Even minor misalignment could place undue strain on the lion's spine or limbs, leading to injuries that could jeopardize his ability to return to his pride. The confined space added another layer of difficulty. Rodriguez had to crouch low, twisting and contorting to secure each strap, all while remaining mindful of the slippery mud beneath him. Every step and movement had to be calculated, deliberate, and gentle. As Oyen carefully increased tension on the pulley system, the lion began to rise slowly. At first, it was just a few inches, then a foot, then two, the harness maintaining perfect balance. Dr. Mitchell's eyes never left the monitoring device. Simba's heart rate remained steady, a small but crucial sign that the sedation continued to function as intended. Yet the team remained vigilant. Any sudden movement or jolt could result in the lion regaining consciousness prematurely, a scenario that could become dangerous within seconds. It was at this precise moment that a complication arose. One of Simba's hind legs, powerful and muscular, even under sedation, became partially entangled in the harness straps. Rodriguez quickly assessed the situation, realizing that the current positioning would not allow for a smooth, injury-free lift. He instructed Oyen to pause the pulley tension, then carefully descended further into the well to adjust the harness. The narrow space forced him to maneuver carefully around the lion's legs, avoiding contact that could trigger reflexive movements. While Rodriguez worked, De Mitchell calculated a supplemental sedative dose. The lion had shown subtle signs of awakening. His ears twitched, muscles began to flex, and there was slight irregularity in his breathing. Administering too much could suppress his respiratory function. Too little could leave him partially conscious. The delicate balance required precision, experience, and nerves of steel. After a few tense minutes, the dose was administered through a second dart, its effect almost immediate. Simba relaxed again, sinking slightly in the harness, and the team breathed a collective sigh of relief. Oyen resumed control of the pulley system, this time lifting with extra caution. The lion began to ascend, slowly but steadily, his massive form moving upward without tilting or shifting. The scene was surreal, a magnificent predator, golden coat shimmering in the waning sunlight, suspended in a carefully engineered harness, rising from a well that had held him captive for nearly 20 hours. The contrast between the lion's raw power and his current vulnerability created a poignant image of nature, resilience, and human intervention intertwined. Above, Thompson documented the operation on camera, capturing every moment for future training and study. The footage would provide an unprecedented look at the technical and emotional aspects of a high-stakes wildlife rescue, offering insights that could save countless other animals in similar situations. He also observed the reactions of the local Maasai community, whose eyes reflected wonder, concern, and reverence. Elder Kipanui whispered quiet prayers, a symbolic gesture that underscored the deep cultural and spiritual significance of the rescue. Despite the careful planning, the extraction was not without additional challenges. The confined space of the well, combined with the lion's massive weight, created a situation where even minor friction against the walls could jeopardize the lift. Rodriguez guided the lion's body with steady hands, ensuring the harness did not catch on the stone edges. Oyen manipulated the pulley system in synchrony, adjusting tension to compensate for subtle shifts in weight. Dr. Mitchell monitored the vitals continuously, ready to administer emergency measures if needed. As Simba's shoulders neared the well's rim, the team encountered another obstacle. The angle of ascent caused the lion's head to brush against the stone edge, creating the risk of abrasion or injury. Rodriguez instructed Oyen to pause while he repositioned the harness slightly, ensuring the lion's head and neck remained free from obstruction. This required descending partially into the well again, a task made more difficult by the limited space and the need to maintain perfect balance. Sweat ran down Rodriguez's brow as he adjusted the straps, aware that even a momentary lapse could have serious consequences. Once the harness was repositioned, the pulley system resumed its work. Simba continued to rise inch by inch, the team's coordination flawless. The lion's body, once confined to the bottom of the well, now floated almost ethereally in midair, suspended by human ingenuity, careful engineering, and relentless determination. Dr. Mitchell's eyes scanned the monitoring device, noting that the lion's breathing remained even and controlled, while his heart rate held steady. The sedation had held for the critical window, proving the precision of the team's calculations and expertise. The Maasai villagers had moved closer to observe the climax of the operation, their colorful garments bright against the golden savanna. Children leaned forward, eyes wide with awe, witnessing a lion, a creature that had once roamed freely, now lifted safely, a blend of raw power and vulnerability. Elder Kipanui continued his prayers, a gentle chant blending with the soft whir of the pulley system. The cultural resonance of the moment was as profound as its technical achievement. The successful extraction would symbolize both human respect for and protection of nature. Rodriguez remained inside the well until the lion's shoulders cleared the rim. With careful guidance, he ensured that the harness maintained balance and the lion's body did not sway or tilt dangerously. Oyen applied the final adjustments on the pulley system, lifting Simba completely above the well's edge. The sight was almost mystical. Sunlight glinted off the lion's golden coat, highlighting the contours of his powerful frame. Thompson continued filming, recognizing the historic nature of the rescue and the valuable lesson it would provide for wildlife conservation worldwide. Finally, with precise coordination, Rodriguez climbed out of the well, exhausted but triumphant. The confined space, the pressure of working around a sedated predator, and the technical challenges had tested his experience and nerves. But his careful attention ensured no injuries occurred. The lion's massive paws touched solid ground for the first time in nearly a full day, a pivotal moment that marked the near completion of the extraction. Yet the team knew the operation was not over. Immediate veterinary assessment and careful monitoring were essential to ensure the lion's recovery from sedation and his return to the wild without lasting effects. Dr. Mitchell knelt beside Simba, attaching monitoring equipment to check vitals, hydration, and neurological response. The lion stirred slightly, his muscles adjusting to the solid ground, but showed no aggression. Rodriguez helped remove tension from the harness, ensuring the lion's limbs were free, and Oyen began disassembling the pulley system carefully. Thompson documented every stage, knowing the procedure would establish new safety protocols for predator extractions across East Africa. The success of this stage, a combination of engineering, veterinary science, and human determination, demonstrated the effectiveness of teamwork under extreme conditions. The lion had been lifted safely, sedated without harm, and every precaution had been taken to respect his natural strength and dignity. The team allowed themselves a brief moment of satisfaction, but they remained vigilant. The final steps, rehydration, assessment, and eventual release, would be equally critical to Simba's survival and reintegration with his pride. As the sun dipped closer to the horizon, casting the savanna in warm, golden light, the extraction phase came to an end. Simba wa Mfalme stood, still groggy from sedation but unharmed. The combined efforts of human skill, engineering ingenuity, and cultural reverence had brought the lion from near-death confinement to relative safety. Every member of the team felt the weight of what they had accomplished, yet also recognized that the rescue's ultimate success would depend on the meticulous care to follow in the next phase, the lion's recovery and safe return to the wild. With Simba wa Mfalme safely lifted from the well and his massive paws now touching solid ground, a collective sense of cautious relief washed over the rescue team. Yet, the operation was far from complete. The lion had endured nearly 20 hours of confinement, stress, and limited hydration. Immediate attention to his recovery was paramount. Dr. Sarah Mitchell and her team sprang into action, quickly establishing a temporary field clinic just a few feet from the well. Equipment was unpacked with practiced efficiency. Portable IV fluids, monitoring devices, and field testing kits lined the area. Every detail mattered, as the lion's resilience, though remarkable, had been pushed to its limits. Rodriguez and Oyen assisted in stabilizing Simba, gently guiding him into a comfortable position on the soft earth. Even sedated, the lion's powerful frame radiated latent energy, each muscle rippling beneath his golden coat. Dr. Mitchell monitored his vitals closely, noting heart rate, respiratory rhythm, and the subtle rise and fall of his chest. The lion's amber eyes, partially open beneath the sedation, reflected both wariness and an instinctive awareness of the humans around him. It was a delicate balance. The lion needed care without feeling threatened or confined further, a testament to the skill and sensitivity of the team. The first priority was rehydration. 2 IV lines were prepared, delivering fluids carefully calculated to counteract the severe dehydration Simba had endured. The lion's metabolism had been stressed, and dehydration could precipitate organ complications if not addressed promptly. Our Mitchell and her assistants worked efficiently, securing the IV lines while ensuring the lion remained relaxed. The Maasai villagers maintained a respectful distance, observing silently as the team performed these critical interventions. Elder Kipanui whispered prayers under his breath, a ritual acknowledging the spiritual significance of restoring life to a creature so integral to their land. Blood samples were drawn for immediate analysis. Elevated stress hormones were expected after such an ordeal, but Dr. Mitchell also checked for indicators of organ strain or infection. Initial results were reassuring. While cortisol levels were high, there were no signs of lasting damage. The lion's muscles, thick and powerful, showed no atrophy, suggesting that even in the cramped well, he had maintained some movement, a testament to the natural resilience of apex predators. Each data point was logged meticulously, a record that would not only guide Simba's recovery, but serve as a case study for future wildlife rescues. As the sun dipped lower toward the horizon, painting the savanna in golden hues, the team continued their careful observations. Simba stirred occasionally, his large head lifting slightly as his senses reacquired the unfamiliar surroundings. Dr. Mitchell administered a reversal agent to counteract the remaining sedatives. This process required precise timing. The lion needed to regain consciousness fully, yet gradually to avoid disorientation or stress that could lead to injury. Each step was calculated to facilitate a smooth transition from sedation to alertness, allowing the lion to regain control over his movements. Rodriguez and Oyen assisted by removing the harness, careful to avoid startling Simba. The custom-designed equipment had performed flawlessly, supporting the lion's weight without inflicting stress or injury. Each strap, padded and precisely positioned, had allowed the feline to remain comfortable and stable throughout the extraction. The technical success of this stage was matched by the emotional intensity of witnessing a powerful predator return to the earth with dignity intact. As Simba's consciousness fully returned, his amber eyes scanned the surroundings. For a moment, the lion remained still, processing unfamiliar scents, the rustle of leaves, and the distant sounds of other wildlife. His initial reaction was one of caution, an instinctual assessment of potential threats. Yet there was no aggression. Perhaps he sensed the team's intentions had been protective rather than harmful. Dr. Mitchell and Thompson exchanged glances. The lion's calmness was a reassuring sign that the extraction and sedation had been executed with precision and care. Preparation for release was meticulous. The team had plotted a clear path across the savanna, leading directly to the lion's known territory. Obstacles were cleared to prevent confusion or hesitation during his journey back to familiar ground. The Maasai community remained nearby, maintaining a respectful distance while observing the lion's first steps post-rescue. Children pressed close to the perimeter, their eyes wide with wonder at witnessing a legendary predator in close proximity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that few would ever experience. Elder Kipanui's prayers continued softly, blending with the natural rhythms of the land. The lion's first attempts to stand were careful and deliberate. His powerful legs adjusted to the solid ground after nearly a full day of confinement. At first, his gait was cautious, a slight wobble betraying the effects of sedation and stress. Dr. Mitchell monitored his coordination closely, looking for any neurological complications or muscle weakness. With each measured step, Simba regained confidence. His movements gradually became more fluid and natural, a display of strength honed by years as a dominant male and predator. Once fully upright, the lion began to orient himself toward the path leading to his pride. The team maintained a safe distance, allowing the lion autonomy over his movement while remaining ready to intervene in case of complications. His first instinct was survival-driven, a careful assessment of the environment, the wind direction, and any potential threats. The sedatives had worn off completely, yet there were no signs of lingering disorientation or trauma. The lion's body and mind appeared fully capable of returning to the wild, a testament to both his resilience and the team's careful intervention. As Simba moved steadily along the cleared path, the Maasai community watched in silent awe. Elder Kipanui's face reflected a rare smile, a blend of relief, pride, and spiritual fulfillment. In Maasai culture, aiding a lion represented a sacred act, a reaffirmation of the bond between humans and the wildlife that shared their land. Children followed at a distance, their curiosity tempered by respect, witnessing a real-life lesson in survival, courage, and human responsibility toward nature. The team continued monitoring the lion until he approached the distant acacia grove marking the edge of his pride's territory. Each step he took was confident, by capricious and deliberate. The golden sunlight caught the contours of his coat, highlighting the muscular elegance of a creature designed for dominance in the wild. The moment was profoundly moving. A predator that had faced near certain death in a well now reclaimed his freedom, his dignity intact, and his vital signs stable. Finally, with Simba disappearing into the distance toward his pride, the team allowed themselves a brief, shared moment of triumph. The technical and logistical challenges had been immense, yet every obstacle had been overcome through meticulous planning, skill, and unyielding respect for the lion's well-being. Mitchell completed her field notes, recording every aspect of the operation from assessment to release. These records would serve as invaluable documentation for wildlife rescue protocols, scientific study, and conservation training worldwide. The successful rescue was more than a display of human ingenuity and expertise. It was a reaffirmation of the bond between humans and the natural world. The abandoned well, once a trap, had now become the site of a demonstration of patience, precision, and reverence. For the Maasai community, the operation symbolized a restoration of balance, a spiritual act that strengthened their connection to the land and its apex predators. For the rescue team, it was a professional and deeply personal achievement, a reminder of why they devoted their lives to protecting wildlife. As twilight settled over the savannah, the team began packing equipment, ensuring that every piece of gear was accounted for and maintained for future operations. The field clinic was dismantled with care, leaving no trace behind. Thompson documented the final moments of the lion's recovery, knowing that the footage would inspire, educate, and provide guidance for similar operations across Africa. The extraction and recovery of Simba wa Mfalme had set a new benchmark in wildlife rescue, demonstrating that with skill, preparation, and respect, even the most formidable challenges could be overcome. By nightfall, the savannah returned to its quiet rhythms. The lion's roars were heard faintly in the distance, a signal that he had reunited with his pride and resumed his role as their protector. The Maasai villagers returned to their homes, carrying with them stories of courage, resilience, and the profound lessons of coexistence. The rescue operation would live on in memory, training manuals, and community lore, a testament to the extraordinary lengths humans would go to safeguard the majesty of the wild. 3 days after the dramatic rescue, park rangers confirmed the first sightings of Simba wa Mfalme, now fully reunited with his pride near the Kaimana River. Roughly 12 miles from the site of his entrapment, the lion moved with the fluid, deliberate grace of a dominant male, each step reflecting strength, confidence, and an unwavering sense of ownership over his territory. His first hunts, led with precision and intelligence, demonstrated that the ordeal of the well had left no lasting physical or psychological scars. The pride thrived once more, guided by the leadership of a predator who had faced near certain death and returned to the wild stronger than ever. Dr. Sarah Mitchell received confirmation of Simba's full physiological recovery. Blood tests indicated that his stress hormone levels had normalized, confirming that the body had processed the trauma without lasting effects. This scientific validation reinforced the remarkable resilience of apex predators and underscored the importance of timely and expertly coordinated wildlife interventions. For Mitchell, the results were both a professional triumph and a deeply personal affirmation of her dedication to animal welfare. The success of the operation had proven that even the most daunting challenges could be overcome with expertise, precision, and compassion. The rescue operation rapidly became a landmark case study in wildlife emergency response. Conservationists, veterinarians, and park rangers across East Africa took note of the coordinated multi-agency effort, which combined technical skill, cultural awareness, and rapid action to save a life of enormous ecological and symbolic significance. Detailed documentation of every phase from initial discovery and sedation to extraction, monitoring, and release would serve as training material for years to come, improving the safety and efficiency of similar operations. The lessons learned would directly influence protocols for handling trapped large predators, particularly in remote or hazardous locations where human and animal lives were intertwined. Meanwhile, the abandoned well that had nearly claimed Simba's life was immediately secured. A protective barrier was installed to prevent future accidents, and local authorities began a survey of similar structures throughout the park. The near tragedy revealed a hidden threat to wildlife, highlighting the importance of proactive measures to safeguard both predators and humans. The community, including the Maasai Barn elders and villagers who had witnessed the rescue, played a critical role in advocating for the continued monitoring of these hazards. Their involvement underscored the vital intersection of local knowledge, cultural practices, and modern conservation techniques. Officer Michael Thompson returned to the site 1 week later. The well was filled in, with only scattered acacia thorns remaining to mark where one of nature's most dramatic rescue operations had unfolded. Standing there, Thompson reflected on the extraordinary events of the past days. Each member of the team had contributed specialized skills, yet it was the seamless coordination, respect for the lion's dignity, and unwavering commitment to safety that had ensured success. For him, the sight symbolized more than a rescue. It was a testament to the enduring partnership between humans and wildlife, a vivid reminder of the responsibilities inherent in conservation. The local Maasai community, too, absorbed the lessons of the operation. Elders emphasized to younger generations the significance of coexistence and respect for apex predators. Children who had observed Simba's rescue carried stories that would be retold for years, instilling an early awareness of environmental stewardship. The cultural dimension of the rescue, the prayers, rituals, and reverent observation reinforced the understanding that wildlife protection was both a scientific endeavor and a spiritual responsibility. This balance between tradition and modern conservation efforts created a model for how local communities could actively participate in safeguarding their environment. The technical success of the rescue also advanced the broader field of wildlife conservation. The specialized pulley systems, harnesses, and sedation protocols had been tested under extreme conditions, validating their effectiveness for future operations. Dr. Mitchell and her team meticulously documented each challenge encountered, from entangled limbs to the delicate timing of sedative administration, ensuring that these insights would inform both veterinary and field protocols. The combination of hands-on experience, scientific monitoring, and innovative equipment created a comprehensive framework for managing high-risk rescues across the continent. Beyond the immediate technical and ecological impact, the story of Simba wa Mfalme captured international attention. Media outlets around the world broadcast footage of the rescue, drawing millions of viewers into the narrative of courage, expertise, and human-animal collaboration. Conservation organizations leverage the attention to highlight broader challenges facing African wildlife: habitat loss, poaching, and the increasing dangers posed by abandoned human structures. Simba's survival became a symbol of hope, demonstrating that coordinated action, respect for animal welfare, and community engagement could yield remarkable outcomes. In the weeks following the rescue, ongoing monitoring confirmed the lion's full reintegration with his pride. His first hunts, post-rescue, were successful. His dominance reaffirmed. He defended his territory with characteristic strength and intelligence. Observers noted no lasting behavioral changes or trauma, a reflection of both the species' natural resilience and the meticulous care taken during his rescue. The scientific data collected, stress hormone levels, muscle tone, and movement coordination, would contribute to research on apex predator physiology, stress recovery, and the long-term impact of confinement and trauma in the wild. The broader implications of the operation also resonated deeply within the conservation community. It demonstrated the critical importance of rapid, multi-agency response in wildlife emergencies. From first responders like Thompson to veterinarians like Mitchell, every participant played a unique and irreplaceable role. The integration of local cultural knowledge, technical expertise, and scientific monitoring created a holistic approach to wildlife rescue that could be replicated across Africa. The operation proved that saving even the largest and most formidable predators required more than courage. It demanded collaboration, planning, and unwavering attention to every detail. As twilight settled over Amboseli National Park, the savanna returned to its natural rhythm. The roar of Simba, faint but unmistakable, echoed across the golden grasslands, signaling a return to normalcy and continuity of the ecosystem. Thompson, Mitchell, Rodriguez, and Uyen departed the scene, carrying with them the profound satisfaction of having altered the course of a life and, by extension, the lives of an entire pride. For the Maasai villagers, the event became part of oral history, a story of awe, respect, and the extraordinary lengths humans could go to protect the wild. The legacy of the rescue extended far beyond the immediate outcome. The protocols, equipment, and lessons learned would guide future operations across the continent, potentially saving countless wildlife lives. Simba's survival underscored the resilience of nature when human intervention was applied with skill, respect, and urgency. The abandoned well, now safely sealed, remained a reminder of the hidden dangers that could arise from human neglect, while the lion's triumphant return symbolized hope, balance, and the enduring power of collaboration between humans and the natural world. Ultimately, the rescue of Simba wa Mfalme was a narrative of triumph, not only over adversity, but over the limitations of human expectation, technological boundaries, and environmental uncertainty. It was a story that highlighted the strength, intelligence, and survival instincts of a species that had endured for millennia, and the capacity of humans to act decisively, ethically, and compassionately in the face of extraordinary challenges. As the park settled into night, the golden silhouette of the lion disappeared into the tall grass, a living testament to resilience, courage, and the sacred responsibility of stewardship over Africa's magnificent natural heritage. This extraordinary rescue reminds us that every life matters, and with courage, expertise, and respect, humans can make a profound difference in the natural world. Protecting wildlife is not just a duty, it's a privilege that strengthens the bond between humanity and the planet we share. Celebrate these stories, share their lessons, and support efforts to preserve our wild heritage for generations to come.